Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever sat in a boardroom and thought, wow, this feels exactly like a high-stakes sports match? Well, you're definitely not alone. Today we're doing something really cool. We're breaking down the cinematic journey of Kabir Khan from that iconic Bollywood sports film, Chak De India, and turning it into a literal toolkit for modern corporate management. We're leaning heavily on Sandeep Nair's brilliant analysis here. He realized that coaching this fictional Indian women's hockey team mirrors exactly what you and I face as leaders every single day. Diverse teams, messy challenges, that stubborn resistance to change, and the constant pressure to actually deliver results.
So, to make this actionable, we've broken all these insights down into 4 key stages. We'll start with building a shared foundation, then look at navigating inevitable friction, move into fostering a champion culture, and finally, wrap up with defining true leadership.
Right, let's jump right into the first phase, building a shared foundation, or how you actually transform a bunch of diverse individuals into one cohesive unit.
There's this incredibly powerful line from the movie. The name on the front is more important than the one on the back. Before you can execute any complex corporate strategy, your team absolutely needs an identity. Think about Kabir Khan's early coaching days. He didn't just walk in and hand out a massive, boring playbook. He started with a profound why. He made it crystal clear that the country's name on the front of the jersey matters way more than the individual player's name on the back. And for us, it means our fancy tactical playbooks are basically useless if our team doesn't genuinely care about the jersey they're wearing.
We see this trap all the time in standard management, right? Just giving endless instructions, pushing mandatory policies, obsessing over KPIs. But true leadership? That starts with purpose. When you build a shared purpose, you get real alignment and intrinsic motivation. You're tapping into a deep, voluntary commitment that, honestly, no HR policy or performance metric could ever force out of someone.
Remember how Kabir's team was this messy, volatile mix of clashing egos and regional biases? Honestly, doesn't that sound exactly like a Tuesday morning status meeting? But here's the thing. Great leaders don't try to squash those differences. Instead, they build frameworks where that individual uniqueness actually adds to the collective strength. It's a vital truth to remember in any organization. Diversity is never the problem. A lack of integration is.
Okay, moving right along to part 2, navigating inevitable friction. Because real leadership is about managing actual people, not just writing up a nice vision statement and calling it a day.
Writing a mission statement, super easy. Managing the messy, day-to-day friction when human beings are under immense pressure, infinitely harder. Bridging the sports field to the office means having the courage to make some genuinely uncomfortable choices. Whether it's dropping a toxic player from a project, calling out a fierce ego battle, or challenging a bad attitude, a great leader delivers those hard truths with respect. You literally cannot let those unresolved issues fester, or they'll just poison the whole team.
And to do this well, we really need to reframe how we think about discipline. It's not some mechanism of control, and it's definitely not just a way for a manager to flex their authority. It's actually a demonstration of mutual respect. In the corporate world, true discipline isn't about just punching the clock. It's about respecting deadlines, keeping up rigorous quality standards, and fundamentally, respecting each other's time.
There's a very clear, crucial progression that happens here. First, establishing strict discipline and clear boundaries teaches your team to value their commitments. That leads directly to step 2, which is building deep trust, because everyone knows exactly what to expect from each other. And finally, that unshakable foundation of trust becomes the absolute engine that drives step 3, true sustainable high-level performance.
You know that old saying about pressure creating diamonds? Well, when you're facing severe corporate escalations, massive stakeholder demands, or those terrifying last-minute crises, a strong leader uses the intense squeeze of those moments to build resilience and composure, rather than instantly pointing fingers and assigning blame. High-pressure moments in the corporate world don't magically create character out of thin air. They just peel back the layers and reveal exactly what's already there. Which brings us to part 3, fostering a champion culture. This is all about making that massive leap from a manager who just directs to an enabler who truly empowers.
I want you to seriously ask yourself this question right now, just to challenge your own management style. Do you want one superstar, or do you want 11 leaders? Kabir Khan understood that true empowerment isn't just about handing out a to-do list. He didn't want one superstar carrying the whole game on her back. He wanted 11 leaders on that field, completely capable of making their own split-second decisions.
When people are merely working to please the boss, you're honestly just going to get basic bare minimum task completion. But when you flip the script and give them actual ownership, their motivation completely changes. They strap in for the ride. They aren't just ticking boxes for you anymore. They are fighting fiercely for the shared mission.
Think back to the movie's incredibly chaotic passing drill. Every single player had to scramble, pass the ball, communicate openly, and completely trust the next person in line. As corporate leaders, we have to proactively design our workflows and our meetings so that we aren't just rewarding the loudest voices in the room. We desperately need systems where even the quietest person feels valued, and where absolutely every single voice matters.
Because the reality is, you don't just jump straight from day one to the World Cup. You have to celebrate that clean pass on day one. You acknowledge the really good practice session in week 2. You build that deep camaraderie by month 3. It's these small, everyday victories that boost morale and create the kind of unstoppable momentum you need to finally hit those massive year 1 goals.
And that leads us to our final section, Part 4, Defining True Leadership. Let's look at what that actually looks like when you finally cross the finish line. After all the team building and all the friction, what actually defines the leader at the end of the day? Early on, Kabir faced intense skepticism, open defiance, you name it. But he wasn't trying to be everyone's best friend. He was aiming for respect, which is built on a bedrock of clarity, unwavering integrity, and absolute consistency. He proved that true trust is earned by remaining fair and principled, not by winning a popularity contest.
The absolute best leaders understand the anatomy of a winning team, and they know exactly when to step out of the spotlight. You celebrate the small wins, you earn the respect, but at the ultimate moment of glory, when the huge project launches or the trophy is finally hoisted, the leader's job is done. They step back into the shadows so the team can step forward and completely shine in the light.
By taking these lessons from the hockey field and bringing them straight into the boardroom, we completely elevate what it means to lead. It's not about grand titles or giving flashy speeches. It's about belief, empathy, and the courage to push people way beyond what they thought they were capable of. So when you look at your team tomorrow morning, ask yourself, are you just managing their tasks so you can survive another week? Or are you ready to build champions? The whistle has blown. The game is yours.